I've had a great year. I've done a lot of things that I've been doing. It's a traditional cliche Jeff year in that I've dedicated fully to myself, to my mind, my body, my spirit, the evolution of self, the growing of self, the skill set, etc. And I could rattle off a lot of the criteria that makes me feel successful because I said I would do certain things in the physical compartment specific to lifting and running. So my cardio and physical fitness, even that would also trend down towards eating habits and things of that nature. I can talk about my spirituality and the amount of prayer and meditation I've put in because I track that too. I can certainly go into my skill set as far as levels of philosophy I'm endeavoring out into, the types of books I've been reading, the type of material I expose myself to on the regular, whether it's through the reading or any other available content. I try to immerse myself in a specific space for the idea of self-development. And all that being important and relevant and certainly something you should consider. I I don't think that's the leverage point I want to go with today as far as what I found to be my main and most powerful takeaway for the year and what I hope to continue to carry out and move forward with, which is this. With all that I've done this year, been through this year, experienced this year, and I'm just like you. I'm just like you. I go through it. I go through it. The greatest achievement for me, and I think I've realized this over the last few days as I've been going through my motions of me, is that I really do love myself. And I wouldn't want to be anyone else but me. And I certainly don't want to be you. I don't want nothing to do with you and whomever else might be listening, watching, or this might make it to. And and I offer that to you as a possibility. And as I say that and consider how that sounds, I can feel in my head my mind start to race towards defense mechanisms to protect what I'm saying, to ensure I'm not offending anyone. But if you can't get from me off the rip, or if you don't know me enough by now to know I'm not looking to offend anybody, then I don't know what else to tell you. Because the reality to that statement that I don't want to be anyone else but me, and I hope that you feel the same way too, is highly predicated off of this revelation, at least that has occurred to me. When I would hear something like that, or when I've heard things like that before I embarked on my journey, I guess you would call it spirituality because everything needs a label these days. I might have taken, not might have, I certainly would have taken offense to a statement like that. And why would we gravitate towards that emotion? Why would we be offended that someone could say, I want nothing to do with how you live, who you are. I would never want to be you in any capacity. Why is that offensive? I believe, naturally and emotionally, we start to have an immediate emotional reaction of, well, who are you? Does that imply that you're better? You wouldn't want to be me because who are you? Who are you that I'm not? What have you done? You're nobody. You're nobody to be telling me that. Certainly, if you're not visibly, socially accepted in that capacity, right? If I was someone who you identified with, think of it like that, as highly successful, as having done things that one can only dream of. If I make a statement like that, you'd probably be more accepting. But because I'm not that person, how does that hit you? So there's that. That in turn has, I believe, the same emotional spin of you think you're better because that implies what? I'm lesser? That I'm not as good? That there's something wrong with me? Because the audacity, again, who are you? But I don't say it in that way. I don't mean it in that way. And I certainly hope to have it resonate with you in the most positive possible fashion. In that, the reality I've come to with this, I don't know if it's an epiphany or this experience, this life experience, is that I don't want to be you because it's really hard to be me. And I can only be me. And we might think we know that. We might think we adopt that philosophy. And I bring it down to, or maybe it's not a philosophy, maybe it's just a mindset, whatever it is, categorize it however you wish. Certainly culturally too, we might think God made me as me. So I'm only me. I can only be me. And we believe we move in that mantra and spirit. But I would argue that a lot of us don't, which is why we have this manifestation of jealousy and envy, this vicarious sort of coveting and greed and these emotions that align with us looking at ourselves, seeing that there's a delta in our lives, that we may not have the things we think we want. We watch others have it, and we still have that kind of attitude of, you ain't better. Who are you? Why should you have it and I not? Right? Natural, I think instinctive. And the more that life reveals these levels of indulgences, I think that's a way to kind of put it. But this level of accessibility to what I consistently refer to as a material richness, a physical richness. Like life is just it's truly amazing. I wouldn't knock anyone, particularly who doesn't have in that way, for yearning, right? For yearning to attain and achieve at the maximum level. I just, why would you limit yourself in that way? I don't believe anyone should. But back to my point on this realization, on this path, on this journey, on this evolution, that thank God I'm not you. It also comes with, man, it's I don't want to be you because I know how hard it is to be me. And I don't know yet that we've realized how hard it is to be ourselves until we really leave ourselves with ourselves to find ourselves in that way. The idea that, yes, I'm accepting of myself fully because I can only be what God made me, whatever that means. Like, define that. What does that mean? God made me what? The truth to what God or whomever might have made you and where you arrive at is that, and the possibility that when we hear these things, we A, feel, if we feel this way, might defend ourselves, and B, become defensive, is that reaching this realization, and I don't know that I've completed this journey. In fact, the more that I open myself up to this, the more I feel I'm missing things, which is, I don't know if paradox is the word. Ironic is certainly an emotion and a way to describe it. But that I can only be me means I can't be anyone else, which also means I can see everyone else who has things I might want. You get what I'm saying? Because to come to this truth and realization is not to stop endeavoring out to want to achieve, expand, and broaden your horizons and experiences. Because again, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't you? The reality is there's always going to be some things that you don't have that somebody else has. There's always going to be some things that you can't do that somebody else can do. There's always going to be some things that you lack that someone else possesses. That is a real truth that once you fully accept and embrace and understand, that means that the level of confidence you have in yourself is because you know deep, 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 deep in your soul how much confidence you don't have. The faith that you build is because of how easily unfaithful you can be. The strength that you build is because of how easily weak you can be. There is all of this conflicting and constant interacting of emotions that are within you that reside there in order to establish this realization of self, this acceptance of self that comes with the grandeur of, yes, God made me blessed and amazing and great and gave me all these gifts, and I can use them and maximize them to their full potential and see this wonderful, wonderful life experience. And then, yes, I didn't get all these other things that would make this experience that's already hard enough easier. I don't have a lot of these things. And even if I work on some of these things, I may never get it. There just are some gifts you don't have, that you won't have, that you can't have. So when I say also I don't want to be you, it's from the fact of the difficulty. I can't fathom what it would be like to be you because I know how hard it is to be me because of everything I don't have. So imagine me trying to emulate or reproduce because I want to stay away from the dangers of coveting and the vicariousness of seeing ourselves in other people. But the reality of it is this: if I can empathize with you and have compassion with you and really just appreciate that you are like me and struggle, I want none of your struggles because I can't handle your struggles. I can only handle my struggles. It doesn't mean I can't support, doesn't mean I can't be an engine of positivity and love and a reflection of what you could possibly see and experience, but I'm still not you. The way you're still not me, and I can never change that. The way I can never really change certain things about me. And that is the beauty that has hit me of this life experience is that there's a level of prejudice, a level of opinion that breeds this self doubt and uncertainty that doesn't necessarily go away, but you question, why does it exist? Why do I feel the need to defend myself this way? Why do I feel the need to protect myself? Why do I feel the need to maybe dress in a facade or put on this image in order to establish a certain view and reputation that aligns with what might be perceptually acceptable, whatever that means and however that's defined? It all comes back to the idea that those things don't go away because we still have to experience this life thing so long as we're given the experience of life. And I don't know any other way to do it than to just be me, how I have, how I have, not how I have learned, because I have learned some things. I guess it's learning, but I can only do it as me. I've learned what I've learned because of my exposure. I've learned what I've learned because of what's been said to me. I've learned what I've learned because of what has been shown to me, what has been taught to me and spoken to me. And then I learned what I learned because of what I choose to tell myself, what I choose to speak to myself, what I choose to expose myself to. And at the end of the day, that's really all I can do. That's really all I can do. And left with anything else, I don't know that I've learned to want it any other way. Because what is the alternative? I don't even know anymore. I do know, however, this is the last one for me for this year. And however many more I get, I'm only ever going to want to be me, to do me how I do me, and hope that you find that within you too. Change your mind, change your life. I am who I say I am. Do you and stay rich.